Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, unfortunately, right now our host Seth is down with he can't be with us today. You know what I'm saying, but he is watching from the background. But hey, you got me. You know what I'm saying. So how we got a plus coming up. But just like any other time, man, we can't do it. I can't do it alone. I got my boy Larry here in the building as well. Larry, man, what's going on with you, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you been? How you doing? How was your weekend?
Good, man. I mean, you just changed like Superman, man.
I
You just
did, I did, I
I
did. I
didn't
just
think you was gonna have your
went in
shirt
the
on.
booth and threw my shirt on, man.
Yo, man. Hey, I know you got a big change coming up, man. You ready?
I am about as ready as I can get. For those that don't know or unaware, I'll be headed over to Korea here in the first week of January. So,
Man,
trying to
that's
enjoy
what's
my
up.
time here with the family, friends, loved ones, because it's gonna be a new year for me, a new transition for the family, not just me, but for everybody.
No doubt. Yo, and I know firsthand how good the food is over there, man.
I got you.
So if you got any questions about any of that stuff, man, hit me up.
I mean, not yet, but when I do,
Mm.
I'm definitely gonna hit y'all up, man. I think all y'all from the den been over there, with the
We
exception of
have.
me and Foot. So yeah.
Yeah, we have. Man, check it, man. I played Santa Claus this weekend.
I saw that, saw the picture.
Man, I did it, but see, I did it with a twist, man. I did it for people's pets. So with people's
Okay,
dogs.
okay.
And it was cool up until a point where I had a little. I did pit bulls, some big dogs, and the
Yeah,
only dog that tried me was a Chihuahua, man.
always the small ones.
I had the Chihuahua in my hand. The lady's like, "Hey, he's not going to bite you." That dog went crazy on me, man. Tried to bite my fingers off
Hey, and
and pissed all over me too.
that's funny because we went to Hibachi on Friday. I took the family to Hibachi, and we met a family, military family across from us, and they took a picture. They don't have kids; their kids are grown. So when they showed us the Santa Claus picture, it was with dogs. So it's weird that you did the same thing that they did.
Dog. But
I didn't know people do that.
yeah, and me neither. But I mean, hey, but they say dogs are part of the family. You know what I
They
mean? I
are.
guess that proves it, right? So shout out to everybody out there that love their animals, man. Take them out there to go see Santa Claus.
Yep.
But hey, we got a good one coming up, right? There's always stories out there about people overcoming something. You know what I'm saying, to better themselves or make a better way for themselves. And this guy right here is really no different. You know what I'm saying? And I'm excited to share his story with everybody out there in the den. Everybody, please welcome Mr. Jason Thomas to the den. We ain't got
What's
the
going on?
effect.
What's going on? What's going on?
Hey,
Appreciate it.
hey, before we get started, hey, I just need everybody in the den to take a good look at this brother and tell me he don't look like Tyrese. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Hey, I thought he was going to show up. I thought he was going to show up with a Coca-Cola and singing. You know what I mean? I didn't know what we was going to get.
That's
Yeah.
But
Hey,
Jason,
that's a compliment though.
no doubt. Hey, man, but before we get into the questions, I want to give you the opportunity to tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
My name is Jason Thomas. I'm from out of Beaumont, Texas. I was raised and born here. Also, I live a life of poverty, drugs, violence, gangs, whatever you can name it that's in the hood. I actually experienced it, seen it, or did it. With that being said, my life, has been a journey of experiences. Not only for me to go through, but for me to help others also to come out of.
absolutely. All right. So you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead, Larry.
Yeah. So what I want to do is let's just start from the beginning. All right. Let's talk
All
about
right.
it. You mentioned it. Life of poverty, drugs, gangs, the whole nine. Most of us can say we experienced it or grew up in it. I know I definitely did coming out of St. Louis. So we just kind of went two different paths, unfortunately. But just talk about the early journeys, man. Like what was life like in Beaumont, Texas, and to get you to your stints to where you had to learn the hard way on what to do and not to do.
All right. Well, life in Beaumont, Texas, like I say, is southern. It's a small city. So it's not really a lot to actually do. And coming from a place where I came from, I just was like a product of my environment. The only thing that I seen the only person that I seen that was actually overcoming poverty that I thought was the drug dealers and hustlers.
Right.
So that's what I kind of gravitated to as far as me growing up. You know, my mom was on drugs, dad was on drugs. My daddy wasn't there. I really met him when I got older, when I got like 17, and I was able to go see him for myself. So that's kind of like in a nutshell of how I was raised, what I seen in both my Texas. So that's the only thing as far as like I can really explain to say that what led me down that path. And I believe that, you know, growing up as a child, you know, you don't have no father figure. So you just gravitate to the first person that you kind of relate to, you know, that's kind of intriguing to you. So I did that with the guys in the hood. And, you know, they only could teach me what somebody taught them that was wrong.
Right.
So with that being said, it kind of led me down the avenue of you know, selling drugs, gang banging, and etc. Whatever else that go on in the streets.
Damn,
Hey,
man. Hey,
before you go, Herm, let
go
me
ahead.
just say this
Go ahead,
real
bro.
quick because I don't want to lose it. I just want to paint a picture for those that are listening and watching that a lot of folks come from crazy backgrounds, right? You say your mother and your father was on drugs. So
Yes,
when you
sir.
see young folks on the news, I don't care what race you are, and you think, oh man, their parents should raise them. Well, you were set up from the start, man. You were
Right.
set up to fail from the beginning. I just want to throw that out there that not
Yeah,
all kids come from two-parent homes and they just, you know, going against the grain, want to do their own thing. Sometimes you was raising yourself, it sounds like. So I just want to
yeah.
make sure we don't lose that as we get through this story today. Go ahead, Herm.
Man, Larry, you couldn't be more right, man, because it's always easy to judge somebody's life and their circumstances when you have no idea what it took
Yep.
for them to even be still alive today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, so check it out. Hey, let's paint a picture. Let's using Larry's word, paint a picture. Beaumont, Texas. Where is Beaumont, Texas located? And for those who
Beaumont,
don't know,
Texas is located down south. It's like an hour or 45 minutes away from Houston.
okay.
Houston, Texas. Most people know about Houston, Texas, but Beaumont is like 45 minutes from Houston.
All right,
East
check.
Texas, really.
Mhm.
All right, so going back to your early days, you know what I'm saying? I thought it was interesting, you know what I'm saying, that you talked about both your parents was on drugs, and it led to you being in a life where you was starting to sell drugs.
Yes, sir.
Now looking back at that, you know what I mean? How, you know, did you ever feel conflicted about that, knowing what drugs really did to your family? You know what I'm saying? And now you became part of that cycle.
Yeah, yeah. At times I did once my transformation came, but before my transformation came, I couldn't see. I was
Right.
blinded. I thought that was the goal. Hey man, you know, my mama smoked, so shoot, I'm a hustle. You know, my daddy never was there, so hey, I'm a grind. And the mindset of me seeing everybody else do it, sometimes we raise to think that something that's wrong is right because we kind of use a crutch, or as I can say, we use an excuse of why we do something
Mm.
that's really illegal and it's not right, not for me or for my family or for people, period.
I think th- when you reflect, it's easier to see that though, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because when you in the shit, it's hard to see that far out, right? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I don't want to, like Larry just did. I don't want to paint the picture like, man, you should have known better, because how can you know better when it's all you see outside your front door, right?
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And like I say, being in the hood, I was sharing with some of the guys and sisters earlier that if you never exposed to nothing different, how can you know to do something different? You know, some of the stuff we see on TV, but it's not tangible.
Yeah.
So with that being said, the highest IQ that I seen as far as being a man, what a man was, what I thought a man was the big homies in the hood. And they didn't even know what a man was.
Yeah.
So uh that thinking and that vision, I actually thought I was doing the right thing until my eyes was open. Until I was able to, you know, be set down and really be around other men, authentic men, to really show me what a man actually is.
All right. And so I want to talk about some of your folks as you were growing up. I know you backstage, you told us you did 3 stints in and out of prison.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So those stints, obviously the first 2, can you talk about how the third time was that moment that changed you versus the first two? Like, what I'm trying to say is, can you set the scene where how you went in the first time and I guess it didn't hit you, you
Yeah,
didn't learn your lesson. Then the
yeah.
second time it's like, nope, still didn't hit me. But then the third time was like, whoa, was it the amount of time? Was it the people in there, or it was just a transformation? You got older, maturity. Like, just kind of break that down between the three stints and how it shaped your mind.
All right. Well, the first time, I did 2.5 years. I went to the state,
Mm-hmm.
and our state really is just gang fights and the norm. So, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
All right. Yeah, we got you. Yeah, so it was just gang fights and the norm, but I believe that my mental maturity state has a big effect of it because I wasn't mature then, and I still had in my mindset that if I do it way to beat the system. So that was the first time. Now the second time I went for 3 years. I went to the state again. And I had the mindset because you meet different people that kind of tell you different ways to actually do wrong. So I said, well, let me try it this time. And my mindset was just based on trying it different every time. I'm finna try to master the game. I'm finna try to master the streets. And then after I got out the second time, I actually uh elevated to uh selling more drugs than I can imagine. And that's what kind of led me into going to the federal system. Now, once I went to the federal system, it was a difference. The time is more, you meet different people all the way around the world. So you actually are allowed to be exposed to different stuff that you'll never see, like I say, in the city. And the time it has something to do with it. And the bottom line, man, I was at my breaking point. Enough is enough. Because the person not at his breaking point, he's not gonna change, or he's not gonna allow wisdom or somebody else, to kind of open up his eyes to see a different avenue or a different direction.
Man, so you said something that I want to go back to. It's like you got sat down, right? You got
Yeah,
sat down and you was around people when you went to the feds. You got around people from all over, right? It's almost like that movie Trading Places. You know what I'm saying? Like a person's going to adapt to what's around them. And
yeah.
so you got around these people in the feds. Let's talk a little bit more about that. You know what I'm saying? How did these people really influence you to start changing, you know what I'm saying, the way you're thinking about, man, it's really not about mastering the streets. I need to really think about mastering life.
Yeah. Well, once I got to the federal system is just different. The state, I can get by. You can have a fight, do this, do that, but I hadn't already been to the state a few times to where I could coast through the state because I already done put it down the other few times. But when you go to the feds, it's on a whole nother different level. It's not a state level, it's a worldwide level. And as far as me seeing killings, different type of guys that been corporate, but they probably made a mistake or whatever the case may be. It just stretched my mentality to see that, hey man, these guys is really living this. And for me to be able to meet, doctors, lawyers, millionaires, and billionaires on the same unit as I'm on, wearing the same stuff I'm wearing, and they just really chopping game, giving you understanding, and you seeing pictures. So it stretched my mind to believe that, hey, it's something else out there. Let me figure it out. Because everybody in the streets, well, I'm not gonna say everybody, but most people that's living in poverty and you selling drugs, you have a vision to be able to, make money, take care of your family, get out the hood or whatever. So then when you meet these people, the feds that, they showing you Lamborghinis, this, that, houses, you actually able to actually experience, like, man, this a guy who actually did it without even selling drugs. Maybe he was in there for something totally different, but whatever he was doing, he wasn't selling drugs to actually get it. And whenever I seen that, I just told myself, hey man, listen, it's just time tighten up, learn something new. And that's another thing. You can learn a lot. You can get degrees. You can go to school. You can get educated on things that you can't get educated on in the state.
Okay, I like that, and I'm gonna keep going with that. I had a guy one time came out. I don't know what it was. It was either a briefing or something. What it was, but he mentioned. He said when he got arrested, it was more so he needed a rest. He needed to sit down to reflect on his life. Because as we know, when it comes to the gang culture, the street culture, the drug cultures, there's only two ways. You know, either dead or in jail. And
Yeah.
to me, it sounded like when you went to jail, it was more of a wake up call, you know, from a higher power telling you, hey, man, listen, like we're trying to
Oh,
give you chances. You ain't
yeah.
listening. We give you 2 years, we give you 3 years. Now we got to give you X amount of years before you get the picture. And so I want you to speak on that as far as when you were in and out. I know you were saying that I hear the stories. I've never been to prison. I got family that has. And it's almost like when you go in there, you learn more about how to become even better criminal versus what
Yeah,
I think the
what
prison
to do.
system should be is rehabilitating folks and setting you up for when you get out, you don't come back. Can you talk
Yeah.
about the mindset when you're in there? Like, as far as, are folks becoming more criminalized because they're around other criminals, or are folks, does the system really help you get rehabilitated as it, you know, kind of speak to the rehabilitation piece of that?
Yeah, well, like I say, in the state, you have certain classes that try to help you get rehabilitated so you could be a re-entering citizen. That's what they call it. But in a state, like I say, they don't have too much to kind of, help you, teach you. But in the feds, it's different. You have a lot of classes, you have a lot of guys, you have a lot of people that's actually teaching and helping. And it be other inmates too. That's really on some positive time. But my mindset from going in and from the transformation, I was able to sit down because I'm the type of person, I'm a good-hearted person. So, as far as me sitting down, whenever you get locked up, all your friends in the streets, they ain't finna sing you nothing. So I'm gonna tell you that now. As the calendars get to rolling, people start falling off.
Yep.
So I didn't really, I wasn't a man of God at first, but like I say, my grandma was. She the one that had took us in at the time, and she was a godly woman. But as I got locked up on this last bid, I just had a chance to sit out, and God kind of put it on my heart, like, man, if and this is exactly what He kind of put on my heart. He said, "You trying to keep it real with something that ain't real.
Man.
You gonna keep getting the end of the stick."
Yes.
Because I'm in the game, and I'm trying to help dudes out, other guys that kind of been through what I've been through in poverty. I might pull up to the store, hey man, you got some, shoot them some money, shoot them some dope, and tell them get on. To the point to where, I love to try to see my people up with me, not just me pulling up, looking good and all that. So with that being said, when I got incarcerated this last time, everybody fell off. And when the Lord put that on my heart, like, hey man, listen, you trying to keep it real with something that ain't real, you're gonna get the end of the stick. Because nothing in the streets is real.
Yep.
It's so if I'm trying to be real with something that's all fake, then I'm not gonna never win. And I seen it. And then at that moment, they had a old head, we call him old head, which is an old school. He asked me a question. He said, man, you love your kids? I said, yeah. He said, man, that's what the average man gonna say. He said, if you really love your kids, you will stop doing whatever you're doing that's causing you to come to prison. And I ain't gonna lie, they're hitting me, man, because I'm in the streets, I'm taking care of my kids, but I'm really just using money. I'm not using time.
There you go.
So, I felt like I was a hands-on dad, but in reality, I wasn't, because I wasn't spending time. I'm in the streets, I'm going here, I'm traveling here, doing all that, but the money can't take the place of the time. So whenever He told me that and God put that on my heart, I just told myself, hey man, something got to shake. Whatever I need to do to change it, that's what I'm gonna do.
You ain't never lied, man. When you go in, your people ain't gonna send you nothing. I remember when I was locked up, ain't nobody send me. You can't. I was locked up. It might have been for a weekend, but I was still in that bitch.
Yeah,
All right, so let me try it, man. So I know what he's talking about to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Anybody send me nothing. You know what I mean? But anyway, so you win there, man. Things are starting to click for you. You know what I'm saying? You're starting to feel like I need to make a change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I need to be a better father. You're getting all this game. So what did that lead you to?
It led me to I actually, gave my life to the Lord Jesus Christ, which is my Lord and Savior. I end up studying the word of God, being around like-minded people, because I had to start cutting, the old atmosphere, because God give us dominion and a choice to change your atmosphere. Even when all y'all in the same world, it could be chaos, but I changed my atmosphere by changing my friends and the people I was hanging around. So, I started hanging around other brothers. I started hanging around guys who had businesses, guys who just was real intellectual, that had wisdom, that cared. And then that right there kind of shaped who I was around and my atmosphere. And that kind of led me, to meeting different people and doing different things as I was in there.
Okay. And so we're going to keep going with that. What did that lead you to after your 10-year stint, your last stint you did? What is this innovation thing we're talking about here? Can you speak to where you are now as far as this innovation piece that we talked about backstage? Let the world know.
All right. Well, I got out, and I'm not gonna lie, I thought that some of my homeboys, was gonna set me all the way up. I'm thinking they finna buy me a car, get out of my wardrobe, because from when I went in, people weren't making that type of money like how they make it now. It's a difference. It's a big difference. It's like, people was wearing Jordans, Nikes then, and then now you got people wearing Gucci, Louis, and all that. So it's a difference. Money difference, everything is different. So I got out with the mindset like, hey man, I just did over 10 years flat. Didn't tell. I did everything as the streets, quote unquote, supposed to praise you for. I did it like it's supposed to go. And I got out and that didn't happen. So I got a job for my first time. I was working at a produce place in a freezer. I didn't like it. But the only thing that kept me focused was I closed the door to the streets. I told myself, I don't care what happened, that door got to be closed. Now, I'm not going to say it was easy, because, hey, you had guys coming from different places, try to offer me 1,000 pounds of dough, 50 bricks of cocaine, and they trying to give it to me. But I knew it was the enemy, because you wouldn't even give me that before I went in. Now you're trying to give it to me now. So, I just stayed focused, and I had one friend that was around me that kind of knew my vision and my plan. So every time I would get weak, he'll say, nah, brother, hey man, you came too far. Stay on it. Because, I got tired of asking people for gas money, asking for this, asking for that. Because I was catching the bus, I was catching the train in Houston, Texas to go to work. And man, I just stayed down, because you got to get challenged, man. If you want a new life and you try to transition, you're gonna get challenged. Anything that you try to start new or whatever, it has to be a challenge to really see how bad you really want it. And I knew that. So, I just stayed focused, stayed in my word, stayed praying, and I stayed around the same type of guys. And they had an old school before I left. This is what he told me. He got 3 life sentences and a 30. He from Florida. And he told me, he said, man, listen, man. He said, man, you got another chance, man. He said, man, if you don't want that chance, let me have it. He said, you can have my 3 life sentences plus 30. He said, man, make your chance count. He said, because a person like me, I wish I could get back there and get another chance. He said, man, I'll show you how to do it. And I felt the sincerity in his heart. He was serious with me, man. So that right there kind of stuck with me. And I told myself, I'm going to make it count. I say, man, I got God, and hey, they finna open the door for me. I don't care what the enemy throw at me. I'm finna get through that door. I'm finna get through that legalized door. I'm finna get through that door business wise, entrepreneur, whatever it is, they finna let me in. And I was determined, like I was determined in the streets.
Man, and it goes back to what you said. You know what I'm saying? You can't be real to something that ain't real. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, you did everything. You was 10 toes down, man. You did everything all the rap songs told you to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then next thing you know, what none, there's no reward for that. You know what I'm saying? I have some friends that tell me about that stuff too that did time. You know what I mean? It's like, that all the people that's really out there snitching and all that other type stuff. But once you get out, there's nothing for that. You know what I mean? You just had to go get them a regular job like you did, man. I commend you for that, because it had to be hard to see the people that you was in there with out there again, looking like they're doing real well.
Yeah.
And now you in the produce in the freezer, you know what I'm saying, just trying to make it work, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it had to be tough, man. You like,
hey,
man.
mentally.
Yeah,
it was mentally tough.
Knowing that I can go out there and get it just like that, they trying to give it to me. But like you said, ain't nobody trying to give you nothing unless it's something that's coming bad behind it, man.
Yeah.
So man, big props on that. But we're gonna keep going with your innovation, right?
Yeah.
Because you ain't just stopped there, man. You had ideas for yourself on what you wanted to create. You know what I'm saying? You got a creator's mind. So let's talk about some of the things that you've created, you know what I'm saying, in order to put yourself and your family in a better position.
Well, while I was in there, it started. I was educating myself. I got my I was supposed to get my GED, but they ended up starting this program where you can get your diploma. So I got my diploma in there.
Congrats, man. Congrats on that.
Appreciate it. I ended up getting my forklift license. I ended up getting my culinary arts management business college degree. And as I was in there, I prayed. And well, they had a guy in there, like I say, the feds, you get exposed to a lot of stuff. So they had a guy in there, he had started a magazine. And I'm like, man, I seen him arguing about the magazine. We was looking at a double XL. He was like, man, I can make a magazine better than that. They arguing this and that. I seen them do it. In a year's time, I seen them do it. People ordering the magazine going everywhere. The magazine was called Consequences. And when I seen it, I'm like, man, nah. I say, man, this man don't talk about God. He don't know God. I went to cell, put my towel up, got on my knees, and I wrestled with God. I told him straight up, this man don't even know you. I said, hey, man, I'm serving you. Give me an idea, something to where I can start something, not only that can bless me, my family, and others, man. Give me an idea. So like a week later, I used to wear these scarves. And it was cold, it was snowing. My head was cold, my ears was cold. And I thought about putting a hoodie on a scarf, not really knowing that they already have a scarf hoodie. But what the Lord gave me was to put one in a zipper. So I ended up creating it, and the guy who made it for me, which is my boy named Jesus, he ended up making it for me, and I ended up having a prototype from prison, probably like 5-6 years before I even got out. So once I got out, I just pursued it. I didn't really know how I was gonna do it, but I knew God gave me this idea. So whenever I got out, all my little checks, I ended up finding a patent lawyer. I jumped out there, didn't know if it was gonna work or not. I'm just trying everything that's coming my way. So I ended up working on my credit. I ended up starting a JRT logistics. I saved up. I got a box truck. I ended up getting a little small business loan for my trucking company. I ended up with 2 box trucks. I was running them at first. I was doing pretty good. I ended up taking a trip that I wasn't supposed to take, and they ended up putting me back on the monitor for 6 months. So I ended up getting a regular job. I started working at the plant, which that's where I work at now, at the refinery. And I ended up furthering my invention. I got it patent, got it written up by a professional sketcher. Then that went from there. But notice this: everybody I dealt with was people of God. If they was in California, they was in Virginia, if they was in Utah, wherever, every time I met them, they was like godly people. So they would connect me to everybody else to the point to where I actually got the Scuddie out and it's gone. It's JR Scuddie, SCHOODIE.com, to where I end up inventing it. I got a patent on it, and I end up going viral on TikTok. And also, I started a shoe line, which is called Jason Roy Designer Shoes. And you can get them. You can just put it in Google, Jason Roy Shoes. They'll pop up. And then I end up as I stayed focused, like I say, it was challenging. It wasn't easy, but it was possible. I ended up writing a book. One of my homeboys, he had wrote a book. It was a hood novel. And I had already started writing a book when I was locked up, but I got distracted. I didn't finish it. So when I got out, he had written his book. I told myself, man, I'm finna write mine. So what I did, I just sacrificed on Saturdays. I woke up at about 5:30 in the morning and I got to write. And before you know it, I wrote a book called If You Beat the Boss, You Beat the Enemy. And it's basically about overcoming your limitations. And it's basically about knowing who you are, what you possess, and who you are in God. And because a lot of times, like I say, growing up, you don't really know who you are. You really don't know what a man is. You just understand a male. And a man is a male who understands his position and his purpose as a man. So then it just basically gives you the truth about who we are as a human being. It don't matter if you're black, white, red, Mexican, blue, green, or purple. Everybody experience challenges, upsets and limitations in life. So with that being said, I'm on my second book now. It's called Who Told You That?
Okay.
So right now really is everything is really kind of coming to a nutshell and actually taking off. This is the beginning of everything right now.
Wow. Listen, you said a mouthful, and there's so many different directions I can go with this. But one of the things I want to point out before I ask my question is, I hate that you had to go through your past life experience to see clear and have a clear vision at your age now, because I felt like in those 20 some years, half your life, you kind of could have done this 15, 20 years ago, but that's hindsight 2020, right? We could say that all we want. But in the real world, as you're going through it, you're not even thinking about that. But just for a second, just reflecting on it, that's impressive, because there's a lot of dreams. There's a lot of entrepreneurs. There's a lot of skills behind bars because they just made bad life choices, running with the wrong crowd, didn't have that man or that woman or whoever to guide them. And look at all the ideas you just mentioned coming out of prison. Like, good gracious, that's some of these folks ain't never been to jail, ain't even got that kind of creativity and mindset that you guys, you guys have.
Praise God.
So my point with that, and where I want to go with this, is what is your message? Like, I don't know if you do charity work or if you're talking to the youth, but I'm sure you're paying attention to what's happening in the world. As far as, I don't care if it's the rap music, hood life, whatever. How are you taking your story and trying to be an impression upon those youth to kind of get them to, they don't have to go the route you went?
Yeah. Well, right now, like I say, I don't live in the hood no more, but I do go back to the hood because my mama stayed there. And all the guys, all the younger guys, because I did so much time, because the 3 years that I did, I only was out for 1 year, and I ended up doing the 10 and a half. So a lot of younger guys, they was like 10 when I left. So they like 21, 22, and 23. So they heard of my name, but they never really met me.
Gotcha.
So once they actually meet me, they're like, "Oh wow, man, you J. Cole?" I'm like, yeah, So I minister that way. I let them know, because my whole thing is that the same way the enemy got me, that's the same way I'm gonna use them to get them for God. And what I mean by that is, I know what they looking for. They looking for swag. They looking for things that I know that's not really worth nothing, but they don't understand that yet. So I have to get on their level to get their attention. So a lot of times, the same thing they riding, I'm riding with a job. And they be like, oh man, I didn't know you can do that with a job. So, I just inspire them to kind of let them know, hey man, this is everything that's gonna happen to you if you don't stop. And I can't make them stop. I only can tell them my testimony. Now, another thing that I do, when I see situations happen like with the Migos and and with P&B Rock, you know what I'm saying? Cause I know that game. I know that game so good to the point to where a lot of rappers these days, they young, but they get more money than they did in the old rap game. So what's happening is you got some young cats that's immature mentally, and they got a lot of money, and they really think that, hey man, I could be in the hood. Look at Young Dog. All these people got killed because of their choices. I don't believe that it was their time to actually go. It's your choice. You can't be a millionaire and still going back to a world of poverty and think you finna ride in a Lambo in the hood. They not gonna let you do it in my hood. This just stuff you don't do. That's why and I really understand it now, like why they separate different neighborhoods. You have to, because the mindset different. Because when I was in poverty, if you come to my hood in a Lambo, we finna plot to try to get you. It's because we don't have nothing. You got it all, and you're not finna give it to everybody, because you can't give you can't help everybody, but you can help some people. But they always got that one. They not finna let you come to the hood like that, and it's just that type of thinking. Like the Migos, you shooting dice. You need to be shooting dice with people like P Diddy. Would all y'all have the same type of money to where $1,000? If I lose $100,000, these people not gonna get mad. But you shooting dice with other people that's in the hood. It don't matter if they feel like they with the other guy is cool. No. You have to have a different type of mindset with a different type of financial stability. You up here, you messing with people that's down here. You got to really. That's just like P&B Rock. You go to somebody else's hood in a foreign car with a house on your neck. What you think gonna happen?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But I just feel like that the codes to the streets, the way these guys is thinking, they just not thinking, man. And I really believe that they just don't understand the level they on. They feel like they just rapping. It's good. I got a chain on. I got a nice car. I'm shining. That's not how it goes. It don't go like that. And if I'm in the streets and I'm shining, I gotta watch my back in my own hood. You gotta watch your back in somebody else's hood. And I ain't had no $1 million. But it's just a perception of how somebody see it. And then my words too is that, I go to prison every Sunday. I just came from the state prison early this morning, 7:30 this morning. So I go back into the prisons. I go back and speak. I go back and tell my testimony, and I set them up for success on the way out. So we give them clothes, we give them shoes, and we set them up, to try to find them a job and etc. But I'm willing to go back into schools. I'm willing to go to boys' homes, girls' homes, whatever it is, because I know I'm at the age right now. I still got the swag. I got the look for them, and also I got the words of wisdom for them. So either they gonna listen to me or they ain't gonna listen to nobody.
Right. We just had about a couple months ago, we had Project Pat come on.
Yep.
And he's doing the same thing, going into the prisons, giving them different testimony and whatnot, man. So commend you not to forget, what you've been through, and trying to pull people up as well, man. And I know when you talked about you had that box truck business, I know your heart was pumping when they had to call you back in and talking about, because I couldn't imagine like you had to go back in for some old stuff. You just trying to do things the legit way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we went over, the beginning, and now, hearing your story about how the Scuddie came to light, it make more sense because I'm thinking, how do you make that shit in hot ass Texas? You know what I'm saying? Like, what we ain't gonna need a Scuddie for? You know what I mean? But now it make more sense, man. I wish we had a picture of it or something like that so we could show the folks.
I got it right here.
There you go.
Well, let's demonstrate that mug, man. So I think one of the coolest features on it is that it has a zipper pocket on that joint.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I had people, I was looking at my wife. My wife was really impressed with it. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, he got a video too. That hopefully we can.
Y'all got a video. So this is the Scuddie right here. You see, you have pockets. You know, you can have your pockets in there. You know, you can put your phone in there because it got hideaway zippers.
Okay.
So the difference from this, I had a lot of people on TikTok when I went viral because I got like 3 million views. So, you know, they had like about 500,000 comments. So, I seen a few people like, well, how did he get a patent? That's been out 10 years. So when I was breaking down to him, what my patent lawyer showed me, he gave me the game. And he was like, hey man, listen, mostly everything that's created is updated by something else.
Yep.
So basically you can come out with something, but I'm gonna make it a little more better.
Yep.
And I can get a patent on it. Say for instance, you create a cup. I'm gonna create a cup that can hold your ice colder for a little longer. I can get a patent on it. It's still a cup, but it's a cup that can hold ice longer, colder. So now I got a Scuddie. So they say, what's a Scuddie? A Scuddie is a scarf that transforms into a hoodie if you wanted to. So you can wear it in scarf mode, which is like this. And if you get cold or rain or whatever, you can unzip it, and you can wear it in hoodie mode. So you still got your drawstrings and you tie it up just like a hood, like you would if you had a hoodie on. And you know, you still can come like this. And this is called a Scuddie. So if it start getting warm, hey, you can do this. And you have this other feature on here, and this just for like swag. You just hold it like this, and you can flap it to the back. You can wear it like that, or you can roll it back up, and you can put it back into scarf mode. So this is what I invented. I ended up making a TikTok, posted my first video, and it went viral.
That's what's up, man. I think that innovations like that are pretty cool. They even think of stuff like that. We have a hood like that, something like that in our PT jacket.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, that we zip out and have the hood come out, man. So how's that been going? How's the journey with your Scuddie? How is that?
Well, I learned a lot. It been going good. I sold out. Cause like I say, I had red and black, and I sold out of black probably like a week and a half. I ended up almost selling out of this color. And matter of fact, listen, I know it's all gone. And it's going good to where once it go a little bit better, I'm gonna put my 2-week notice in. I'm going full-fledged, you know. As far as giving back, talking to school, talking to prisoners, like the chaplain over there at the prison, he just offered me another spot, which is on Thursdays from 12 to 2, but I can't take it because I'm gonna be at work. But once the Lord bless it to where, hey, you know, I have this making money to where it's making money for itself, then I can just focus strictly, you know, just trying to get the word out, change the world, give them hope, you know, give them some type of inspiration so where they can see, hey man, I was just like you, or even worse.
Hey, that's what's up. Hey, I got a question for you. Have you ever tried out for the Shark Tank, man, to pitch this idea?
Yeah, I did. I did. Yeah, but they had a question on there about having a felony. Now the only thing about me is that my felony is so old, it don't really show up. So I end up filling it out, and but I haven't heard nothing back. I'm gonna try to fill it out again. And if that's a direction that the Lord want me to go in, they ain't gonna be able to stop me. I'm gonna be on there.
Yeah, and so that was just a little quick question, a little filler. I
Yeah,
just wanted to know because you can pitch it, man. You're a hustler by nature. You're a natural
yeah,
hustler, so you can talk your talk, man, and get it. So here's
yeah.
something I want to ask you. I don't know if this is I don't know how early you are into this Scuddie thing, but has other brands that are out there have tried to reach out to you, buy you out, or maybe since we talking about Gucci, Louis, and all that stuff, you can do more with that Scully now. You can put
Yeah,
some
yeah,
Gucci
yeah.
logos and all that. Are you thinking about that kind of stuff, or you just want to keep it authentic to what you are, make it yours?
Nah, I'm not. Nah, I'm waiting on
Okay,
them.
okay,
Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. It was a class that I took when I was in the federal system, and it was some guys. It was like a billionaire. It was one billionaire. His name was Jimmy Butcher. He used to own like a bunch of like jewelry stores in the United States, but he from Cambodia. But he lived in Singapore. So he ended up getting in trouble on the fluke. His wife let somebody borrow 20 million to start up a business. The people did some white collar crime, so they came back to ask them where they get the money from. They told on them, and by him being married to her, they feel like you the one funded it. So that's how he ended up getting the feds. So with that being said, the United States ended up seizing like 700 million yachts, stores, and all that. So they try to get them to sign a waiver to say, hey, look, just we gonna expedite you back to your country, and you just can't come back to the United States. He don't want to do it because he feel like, he didn't have nothing to do with it. But like I told him, hey man, you're not gonna win. You might as well sign that paper and go in home and start over. But like I say, he had ended up teaching us a lot of stuff, and we were talking about business. And one thing he was telling me, we used to always hear him say, like if a company buys something, he say, don't just sell it with shares. That
Mm-hmm.
way, like if I sell you this Scuddie, I want 100 shares in it. That way, if you go up, I go up. I still get a check every month. So I'm still making money on that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start another invention. So that's
Right.
what that's where my mind at with that. I'm waiting on the hit me, but they got a lot of people that done hit me, try to shoot me to the NFL, different type of little spots, different type of little places. So the Lord gonna do something. Something gonna shake.
absolutely. You're on the right path.
Yeah, you definitely are on the right path. We just had a college coach send a message to Terrell Jackson, send a message talking about he needs it because football season coming up.
See,
And I could definitely see them out there trying to wear that because it's not so cumbersome, like a
yeah,
whole jacket or whatnot. You know what I mean? It's just like it
Yeah,
gives me just what I need, you know what I'm saying, around my ears and my neck, and I can adjust it how I need to. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
yeah,
So
yeah,
when I first heard, cause I'm not a big fashion dude. I got the same clothes almost every other day, right? So I first, I like Scuddie. I'm like, what's going on? like what is that? You know what I mean? And then when I finally took a look at it, I was like, no, this is pretty interesting right here. You know what I mean? Again,
yeah,
the best part for me was the pockets that you put in there. I thought that was pretty cool. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I like
yeah,
that. That'd be very it's like not only is it fashionable, but it's utility. It's got utility to it as well.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Appreciate it.
So want to go back, man. You've lived a long life at such a young age. You know what I'm
Yes, sir.
saying? Meaning you've been through a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? As such for such a young person. And I think that what I'm saying, interviews like this, people needed to get out of the mindset of being surprised because if you think about it, people that are on the street hustling, they ain't there because they didn't have drive. You know what I'm saying? That's the last thing that they didn't have. They had
Yeah,
drive. It was just going the wrong way. You know what I mean? And you really show. Right now. I'm giving my last words just so everybody know. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You really showed that, man, with this interview is that you have drive, just like most of the cats that's on the streets that may be misguided. You know what I mean? But you got the drive and the motivation. You know what I'm saying? And very intelligent man. You know what I mean? I really hope that you continue on this path and keep giving back, not only to the prisons, but get to them at a younger age before they can even get there. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? get to the kids, get to the community centers and stuff like that, and find those kids and talk to them. You know what I mean? And let them know about where you've been and where you are now, because that's the only way we're going to win. You know what I mean? With the folks in the prisons and whatnot, they almost going to have to find it the way you found it. But if we can get to the kids early, we can avoid all of that and hopefully cut most of them out before even going that route. But I just wanted to commend you and thank you for coming on to the show. You know what I mean? These are the shows that I always look forward to doing, because it shows people that, hey, there's always a way. As long as I'm breathing, the game is never over, man. So thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. And hey, to follow up with that, for my final words, one, I want to say thanks for coming on to the show, taking the time out to share your story, because sometimes a lot of folks that go through some of the things you through, they don't want to share it. They don't want to talk about it. They want to leave the past in the past. But I totally believe, I think you'll come back on, but I totally believe that testimony is, to me, is a way of life. Sometimes I can learn through others' experiences and life struggles. And the other thing I like about this brother is that he's really authentic. He's straightforward, straight shooter. And it seems as though what they did was even though he went through these struggles, he still got the same skills. He's still a hustler.
Right.
I mean, hustler in a positive way. He's still a grinder. He's just doing it in a more legitimate way, so that he don't have to always look over his shoulders, wondering what this next move is going to be his last move. Now you're doing it legitimately. He can go back to the hood and show these folks that, I ain't not these folks, but show the kids, because now it's about the kids to me, because the older folks are going to be set in their ways.
True indeed.
But he can at least show the kids, I can do the same thing you seeing these dope boys do, but I can do it legally, and so can you. All right, you got the same skills, you got the gift of the gab. You're a hustler by nature because of your whatever it is, your surroundings, your environment. But you can be creative too, and take that creative ideas and make it tangible and live and eat off of it, to where you're not destroying the community. So, man, I just hope he stays. I ain't gonna say hope. I know he will, because he sounds like he in touch with God, he in tune with himself, and he knows what it is and what it's gonna take to stay on this righteous path. That I just hope he becomes more of an inspiration, not only to his community, but to all the communities across the globe. Because I love these type of stories. Like you said, Herm, I ain't never been in jail. I ain't never, stepped foot in there other than visiting with the colleges and stuff. But, it's amazing amount of creativity and all the dreams that are in there, because of, some of them have just been set up. They were set up from the start to fail, and they only know what they know. So shout out to the brother. And hopefully y'all got something out of this, and we'll see you on the next one.
Oh, before we wrap up though, man, because we be remiss, man, we should have mentioned this in the beginning, man. Shout out to our guy Nathan Jackson. You know what I'm saying? That put on Chief, you know what I'm saying? Yo, I couldn't think of a more deserving person, you know what I'm saying? I know Seth will be here doing the hand claps and all that stuff on here. But I couldn't think of a more deserving person to put that on. So shout out to you and your family, brother. You know what I'm saying? Look forward to talking with you soon.
Absolutely.
Hey, Jason, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what just happened, but thank you for coming on. Like Larry said, keep fighting a good fight. Seth, I hope you get to feeling better and start doing some push-ups and quit crying like a little girl. You know what I'm saying? Talk my noise about the dude, you know. Hey, everybody that's out there watching, please make sure you share. And thank you guys for watching. As always, we love y'all. Have a good night. Peace.
Salute.